The ratings are in for Saturday's return of Saturday night's main event on NBC as well as Peacock. The ratings are also in for Collision Winter is Coming. Now that Tessa Blanchard has returned to TNA, could she eventually find her way to WWE? Camille, she's been written off AEW TV. Will we ever see her again on AEW programming? An update on CM Punk's possible title plans for WrestleMania 41. A controversial finish last night in the NXT Championship main event. And Fraxium, they've retained their NXT Tag Team titles. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with the ratings and viewership figures for Saturday night's main event. The return of WWE's Saturday night's main event did well in the ratings for NBC. The 2-hour broadcast pulled in 2.3 million viewers on Saturday night between 8 and 10 p.m. Eastern. Now, this is a bit of a breakdown here because that includes 1.59 million viewers on NBC and an additional 700,000 viewers who streamed it live on Peacock. By comparison, the NBA Cup semi-final matchup between the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder averaged 1.89 million viewers on ABC alone, according to Nielsen data. This marked the first Saturday night's main event since 2008. That event, which also aired on NBC, drew 2.4 million viewers at that time. The latest show took place in the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum on Long Island, New York, the site of the first ever Saturday night's main event back in 1985. The event saw WWE Hall of Famer Jesse the Body Ventura make his long-awaited return to WWE programming, with Ventura once again serving as a color commentator as he did on the original broadcast on the show back in the 1980s. The matches for the night included Chelsea Green defeating Michin to become the first ever WWE Women's United States Champion. Elsewhere on the show, World Heavyweight Champion Gunther defeated both Damian Priest and Finn Balor in a triple threat match to retain his title. The main event saw undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes take on Kevin Owens, with Rhodes emerging victorious. After the show went off the air, however, Owens attacked Rhodes, with Rhodes being carted out of the arena on a stretcher. This was the first of 4 quarterly WWE primetime specials for NBC, which were first revealed when WWE signed a new 5-year rights deal with NBC Universal that saw WWE's weekly SmackDown series move back to the USA Network. The next Saturday night's main event will take place on January 25th in San Antonio, Texas. Now, speaking of ratings, the ratings are also in for Collision Winter is Coming this past Saturday. For 6 straight weeks, AEW Collision was able to stay above the 300,000 viewer mark before drawing the worst number in the show's history 2 weeks ago. The November 30 edition only pulled in 144,000 viewers. However, it also took place during a different time slot at 4 p.m. Eastern instead of its normal time slot of 8 p.m., making it no surprise the rating was lower than usual. That being said, this past weekend, AEW went head-to-head with WWE Saturday night's main event from 8 to 10 p.m., causing Collision to post its lowest total viewership ever in its usual 8 p.m. time slot. According to WrestleNomics, Collision averaged 246,000 viewers and a 0.09 in the key 18 to 49 demographic. When comparing both categories to the previous week, total viewership decreased by 12%, while seeing a 29% increase in the 18 to 49 demo. Collision's numbers compared to December last year continued to disappoint, with total viewership declining by 43% and the 18 to 49 demo going down a whopping 47%. In addition, Collision has failed to eclipse the 400,000 viewer mark since the Grand Slam edition of the show on September 28th. AEW not only went up against Saturday night's main event, which drew, as I mentioned, over 2 million viewers on several platforms, but also the Heisman Trophy presentation on ESPN, averaging 2.251 million viewers, and the NBA Cup semi-final game on ABC, which, as we said before, pulled in 1.89 million viewers. Collision's YouTube numbers for Saturday's show haven't performed well, with Mark Briscoe versus Kyle Fletcher in the Continental Classic being the most watched segment at just over 120,000 views. Now, Tessa Blanchard's return to TNA Wrestling was a big story over the weekend, and could she now end up in WWE at some point in the distant future? Well, Tessa Blanchard made a highly talked about return to TNA Wrestling at their Final Resolution event on December 13th, a moment that was met with a bit of backlash given Blanchard's controversial past. She left TNA in 2020 in a cloud of controversy while she held the company's World Championship and was virtually blackballed from working for another company in the United States after she she had been accused of bullying and racism. However, she is back in TNA. The company do have a plan for her, and on a recent edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer believes that this move could eventually lead to her joining WWE. Quote, "It's a really weird story, but it could just be a favor for WWE," Meltzer said. "I mean, the idea is if she's in TNA for a while and there's no big backlash or anything, they could bring her into WWE because there's women in WWE who do want to work with her. Maybe some who don't, but I know there are some who do, and she's very controversial for all the reasons everybody knows, and it's kind of like a test thing." Meltzer also felt it strange that Blanchard didn't drop the CMLL World Women's Tag Team Championships that she held with Luvia before leaving the promotion, but stated that wasn't a TNA decision. What was a TNA decision was not only to hide her comeback from many people, but to put her in a short program with Jordynne Grace, someone who has vocally pushed back against working with Blanchard previously. Meltzer claims there is another WWE-related reason to this feud. Quote, "She's feuding with Jordynne Grace, who is leaving, by the way, and headed to WWE when the contract is up," Meltzer explains. "So that's like to get Tessa over." Now, Camille. Just what is the status of Camille with AEW? Well, according to some speculation, she may never return to AEW TV. Now, Camille made her AEW debut in late July after reportedly signing with the company several months earlier. The former NWA Women's Champion immediately linked up with Mercedes Moné, acting as her bodyguard, but come November, the partnership was broken up. This saw Camille mysteriously attacked backstage, and she hasn't been seen on television since. While many expected this to set up a feud between the star and Moné, Camille's rarely been mentioned on television. Prior to being written off, she wrestled just 6 matches for AEW. During the latest episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer and Bryan Alvarez suggested that Camille might never return to AEW television. Alvarez said, quote, "This person here says what's going on with Camille and AEW." Meltzer said, "That's a really good question, man. I don't know. They set that did that angle, and they just didn't follow it up at all." Alvarez says, "I don't know if we're going to see her again." Meltzer said, "Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised." Alvarez responded by saying she was mentioned once after it happened and never again. Meltzer responded by saying, quote, "Trying to think, yeah, they've mentioned it, but they haven't mentioned it in the last week or two." With Camille seemingly out of the picture, Mercedes Moné has moved seamlessly on, successfully defending the New Japan Strong Women's title against Hazuki on December 15th. She'll go on to face Mina Shirakawa at Wrestle Dynasty, who will also put her Rev Pro Undisputed British Championship on the line. Moné will be back in action on Dynamite when she defends her TBS title against Anna Jay. Now, CM Punk, of course, he's heavily involved in WWE programming at the moment, and he's going to be heavily involved when it comes to WrestleMania season. WrestleMania 41 is to take place on April 19th and 20th, 2025 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. Branded as WrestleMania Vegas, Triple H has recently teased a mile-long celebrity list for the two-night WWE Premium Live event. While no matches have been announced at the upcoming event at the time of this recording, it appears we could be seeing CM Punk in a prominent role. Punk, of course, didn't get a match at WrestleMania 40, having suffered a triceps injury in the men's Royal Rumble match several months earlier. It was later revealed that CM Punk and Seth Rollins had been set to take place at the April 6 and 7 event this year for the World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, Punk was on commentary for Rollins versus Drew McIntyre at the event. WrestleVotes has now revealed the current plans for Punk during a recent episode of the Backstage Q&A. It was revealed that WWE sees Punk in the championship picture at WrestleMania, stating, quote, "I've heard so many things on Punk, especially as of late with the Roman stuff being thrown in there, but the one main factor that I've heard almost all year is they want him to be involved in a world title match. I don't know how the puzzle pieces are going to fit, but they want him at the top. I don't think it will be with Cody, so that's one title match out the window. Does he fit into the other one? I'm going to say yes at this point. I don't think it will be Gunther. That's the thing. Of course, Gunther is the current WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He defended the title successfully against Finn Balor and Damian Priest at Saturday night's main event. And seemingly, could it be CM Punk versus Gunther? WrestleVote says no, but of course we'll have to wait and see how that plays out in the future. Speaking of title matches, a bit of a controversial ending last night on NXT. Eddie Thorp, of course, skipped the line as he dodged the Iron Survivor match at NXT Deadline and faked a backstage attack. But he didn't exactly defeat NXT champion Trick Williams in the main event of Tuesday's show, as the match came to a controversial finish. Thorp put up a good fight against the champion in their match, as they both fought in and around the ring, and two referees seemingly counted two different results of the match to end the night. Williams was able to hit a rock bottom on Thorp and attempt attempted to take control of the match, but Thorp kicked out. Williams got his opponent up and slammed him to the mat, but Thorp countered another move and took out the referee, who couldn't count his pin on Williams. Another official got in the ring, and Williams attempted to roll up a distracted Thorp, but he kicked out once again. Williams hit a trick shot after Thorp set him up in the corner, and both referees counted to 3. The pair argued as Williams' shoulders were also on the mat, and Thorp had his arm across the current champion. NXT General Manager Ava came down the ramp to discuss the result with the referees as the show went off the air, so we'll have to wait and see next week indeed what the outcome and decision is going to be regarding all of this. And finally, Fraxium, despite their issues and despite obstacles last night, are still the NXT Tag Team Champions. Like NXT Deadline, Nathan Frazer and Axiom have somehow overcome multiple obstacles to retain their NXT Tag Team Championships. On this occasion, Axiom suffered the unfavorable fate of wrestling twice in one night, beginning with a singles match against the men's Iron Survivor winner Obafemi in the opener of NXT. Despite a valiant effort, Axiom ultimately fell short to Femi, and the latter delivered a fall from grace for the pinfall. 1 hour later, a bandaged Axiom headed into his NXT Tag Team title defense alongside Frazer, who emerged with a protective face mask for his recently busted nose. Together, the two took on Gallus' Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. As expected, Axiom exhibited some physical issues throughout the match, as he notably collapsed when attempting a second tope suicida to a lingering Joe Coffey at ringside. Adding to their lineup of challenges were Frazer's aforementioned busted nose, which Gallus targeted early on, and a miscommunication that saw Axiom accidentally strike Frazer with a golden ratio. Still, the two-time NXT Tag Team Champion persevered, with Axiom hitting a Spanish fly on Wolfgang off the top turnbuckle, and Frazer following up with a Phoenix Splash for the victory. With this win, Fraxium collect their 5th successful televised tag team title defense, having previously defeated the likes of the No Quarter Catch crew, Cedric Alexander and Javon Evans, and A-Town Down Under. The duo began this reign with a victory over Ridge Holland and Andre Chase of the now defunct Chase U at NXT No Mercy. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.